Let me say this right now. The biggest mistake you're making is pretending you're okay when your soul is screaming for help. You're walking around like you're strong, like you've got it all together, but deep inside you're barely holding on. I see you. But more importantly, God sees you. This is not just a video. This is a divine interruption. A moment God planned long before you even click play. Because you weren't supposed to keep carrying this weight alone. So don't scroll past this. Don't just watch the first 30 seconds and move on like this is some motivational noise. This is different. If you're tired, if you've been praying and hearing silence, if you feel like no one really knows how heavy it's been lately, this message is for you. This is your sign. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to sugarcoat the pain either. You're exhausted, emotionally drained, spiritually depleted. But help, real help, is already on the way. So stay with me till the end, because I promise you, by the time we finish, you won't just feel encouraged, you'll feel carried. You'll stop questioning your strength and start leaning into something far greater. Not more hustle. Not more pushing, but more presence, the presence of a God who refuses to let you fall. Let's talk heart to heart, soul to soul. Because I've been where you are. I've prayed through clenched teeth. I've cried in secret. I've smiled in front of others while falling apart inside. And that's exactly where God met me, not when I had it together, but when I was too tired to pretend anymore. So I need you to stay. Listen closely. Soak in every word. Let this message heal places in you no one even knows are hurting. You're not here by accident. You've been carrying burdens for too long. But this is the turning point. Let's begin. I know you're tired. And I don't just mean physically. I'm talking about the kind of tired that sits deep in your bones, the kind that you can't sleep off. You walk through the world like you're okay, but inside, you're crumbling, holding everything together with threads, smiling for everyone else while your own soul is screaming for rest. You've learned how to function while falling apart. And the truth is, very few people even notice. But hear me clearly, God sees what they don't. He sees the pressure you carry behind closed doors. The tears you wipe away quickly so no one thinks you're weak. He sees the moments when you pray in silence, not even knowing what to say, because the words have run dry. He sees the weight you carry in your heart, the kind of weight that doesn't have a name, just a presence. And He's not disappointed in you for feeling like this. He's drawn to you. He's near to you. Let's break a lie right now. You are not weak because you're exhausted. You're not failing. You're not lazy. You're not broken beyond repair. You're human. And more than that, you are human, loved by a supernatural God who knows how to heal the invisible wounds no one else sees. This tiredness you feel, it matters to Him. That's why He said in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." That wasn't poetic fluff. That was a lifeline. A divine rescue for souls like yours who are carrying more than they were ever meant to bear alone. You've been doing so much, trying so hard, keeping it all together. And somewhere along the way, you started believing that this is just how life has to be. Exhaustion became normal. Burnout became expected. But I want you to hear something loud and clear. God never intended for you to carry this alone. Psalm 55:22 says, "Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken." That's not wishful thinking. That's a promise. That means if you feel like you're about to collapse under the pressure, You're not supposed to hold it all in. You're supposed to release it. Give it to him. Lay it down. Let him carry what's been crushing you. I know it feels like no one understands. I know it feels like you're doing everything right and still falling behind. But that's not the end of the story. Exhaustion doesn't mean you fail. It means you've been fighting. It means you've been showing up, pushing forward, holding on. And that fight hasn't gone unnoticed in heaven. You're not invisible. You're not forgotten. And you're not beyond help. But you need to stop pretending you're okay. Because the moment you finally admit, God, I'm tired, is the moment you make space for him to move. And he will move. Not with judgment, but with compassion. Not with guilt, but with grace. You've been strung for so long. Too long. But now it's time to rest. Not in distraction. Not in escape. But in the arms of the one who created your soul and knows how to restore it. So breathe. Let go. Just for a moment. Stop holding the world on your shoulders and remember this. God knows you're exhausted. And he's not waiting for you to fix yourself. He's coming to lift you up. This is the first step, recognizing the weight. Because what you acknowledge, you can release. And what you release, God can redeem. You think God's unaware of your pain. What if I told you he's closer than you've ever imagined, and every tear has been caught, every sigh heard? You've cried in the dark, haven't you? Not just the kind of crying that leaves tears on your pillow, but the deep, soul-wrenching kind. The kind where no words come out, just silence and shaking. The kind that leaves your chest hollow and your faith rattle. And in those moments, maybe you've thought, where is God? Maybe you've whispered or even shouted, does he see me? Does he even care? Let me tell you something that might just break you wide open, in the best way possible. He's never looked away. Not once. Every sigh, every ache, every lonely night he's been right there. Closer than the breath in your lungs. Not just watching from a distance like some disconnected deity, but leaning in, counting every tear, hearing even the silent screams you were too afraid to say out loud. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." That means when you were falling apart, when you thought no one could possibly understand what you were carrying, he did. He was there. And he wasn't just observing, he was grieving with you, loving you through it, holding you even when you couldn't feel it. Psalm 56:8 says something I'll never forget. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. Imagine that. God, the creator of galaxies, saves every tear you cry. He doesn't dismiss your pain. He treasures it, records it. That's how much you matter to him. You see, we've been trained to hide our struggles, to be strong, to push through. But God doesn't require masks. He doesn't bless performances. He blesses honesty. And he responds to brokenness with compassion, not punishment. Jesus himself understands your exhaustion. He wasn't a stranger to pain. He wept. He grew tired. He begged for relief in Gethsemane. He knows what it's like to carry something that feels too heavy, too holy, too hard. So when you come to him weary, you're not coming to a God who can't relate. You're coming to one who has walked through it himself. You've got to stop thinking that you have to earn his attention. You already have it. You've always had it. Even in your most hopeless hour, God was near. Not because you were strong enough to impress him, but because you were hurting enough to draw him in. Your exhaustion is not ignored. It's not a sign of spiritual failure. It's a signal flare that heaven responds to. When your strength runs out, God doesn't shake his head. He steps in. He surrounds you. He whispers, I know. I see. I'm here. So stop hiding your struggle. Stop thinking God is disappointed in you for not being okay. He's never been disappointed in your humanity. He created you knowing you'd have limits. And he designed his love to meet you right there, in the middle of the mess, not after you've cleaned it up. You don't need to scream to be heard. God is already listening. And right now, he's not preparing to walk away, he's preparing to lift you. But if he sees why hasn't anything changed yet, hold on, the answer may be closer than you think. Listen to me carefully. God didn't bring you this far to leave you stuck. You might feel abandoned. You might feel like the heavens are silent. But just because you don't see the help yet doesn't mean it isn't already on its way. One of the biggest lies the enemy whispers to the weary is this: God has forgotten about you. But the truth, he hasn't forgotten, not even for a second. He's not late. He's not absent. He's preparing the rescue. And not just any kind of help. Divine help. Strategic. Timely. Powerful. Custom-built for your situation. Isaiah 41:10 declares this with divine authority. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. Did you hear that? He will help you. It's not a maybe. It's not a condition. It's a promise. And when God makes a promise, heaven moves to fulfill it. You don't need to figure out how. You don't even need to understand when. You just need to trust that he's working, even in silence. Especially in silence. Because the silence doesn't mean absence. It often means preparation. And God's help usually arrives not with fireworks, but with faithfulness. 121:2 echoes this truth. My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. You're not relying on some weak, distant force. You're relying on the one who spoke stars into being. The one who commands angels. The one who holds the oceans in his hands. If he created the universe, he can handle what's breaking you. And here's the beauty of divine help. It doesn't always look like what you expect. Sometimes help is a person showing up at the exact moment you were about to give up. Sometimes it's a whisper in your spirit that calms the storm. Sometimes it's strength you didn't think you had. A peace that doesn't make sense. That's God. That's how he moves. His help is not delayed. It's perfectly timed. His help doesn't just treat symptoms. It goes to the root. His help doesn't just get you through. It transforms you in the process. But here's the thing. To receive that help, you've got to let go of your pride. You've got to be willing to say, God, I can't do this on my own. And in that surrender, he shows up. Not just as a comforter, but as a warrior. Not just to carry you, but to fight for you. If you've been praying and seeing no change, don't lose heart. Help is closer than you think. You may be at the edge of your strength, but you're also at the edge of your breakthrough. God is not late. He's exact, and he's never failed one of his children. So lift your eyes. Help isn't a distant hope. It's a guaranteed promise, and it's coming straight for you. You don't just need help, you need rest. The kind of rest no vacation can offer, only his presence can deliver it. Let's stop right here. Let's slow it all down. Because what you need right now is not more noise, not more striving, not another to-do list or another performance. What you need is rest, real rest. Not just sleep, not just escape, but deep, healing, soul-level rest that only comes from being in the presence of God. I know your mind runs constantly. I know the weight doesn't let you breathe fully. You're exhausted because you've been living in survival mode, spiritually and emotionally, trying to outrun fear, failure, and expectations. But you can't keep going like this. You weren't made to run on empty. God isn't asking you to hustle harder. He's asking you to be still, to stop moving for a moment, to stop pretending, to stop fixing and performing and striving, and just be with Him. Psalm 23:2-3 says, "He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul." Do you hear the tone? That's not the voice of a drill sergeant. That's the voice of a shepherd, a father, a healer. He's not yelling at you to get up and keep going. He's inviting you to lay down and be restored. God's presence isn't just peaceful, it's powerful. It's where your soul breathes again, where clarity returns, where your inner world realigns. In His presence, the chaos loses volume, the lies lose power, and the weight, it lifts slowly, quietly, supernaturally. Isaiah 30:15 gives you the map. In repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength. Not in noise, not in pressure, but in surrender. That's where the real strength begins. I've tried running from pain. I've tried numbing it, bearing it, working through it. None of it worked. It wasn't until I let myself collapse in His presence, honestly, painfully, vulnerably, that healing began. Because in God's presence, you don't have to be strong. You just have to be present. There's no pressure to perform in His presence. Only permission to rest, to fall apart, to be real. And that's where transformation begins. Not in the pretending, but in the presence. You don't need to prove anything to God. You just need to meet Him. Right now. Right where you are. With all the exhaustion, all the fear, all the doubt. Bring it to Him. Lay it down and let Him speak life back into your weary heart. Don't rush this. Don't skip past it. This is the holy moment you've been craving. The breath your soul forgot it needed. You're not lazy for needing rest. You're not weak for needing stillness. You're simply human. And God has been waiting, not to scold you, but to embrace you. So come away from the chaos. Retreat into His presence. Because when you rest in Him, you rise in Him. And that's where your true strength is born. But how do you rise when you're still empty? The secret lies not in trying harder, but in trusting deeper. Let me tell you something that might just flip the script in your life. God never asked you to be strong without Him. That pressure you've been feeling to hold it all together, to power through, to be the strong one for everyone else, that's not strength. That's survival. And you were never meant to live in survival mode. Here's the truth. Faith is where your real strength begins. Not when you've got it all figured out. Not when your emotions are perfectly calm. Not when life is going your way. But when you say, "God, I can't do this, but I believe you can." That's faith. It's not performance. It's surrender. You see, faith isn't just a belief system. It's not something cute you put on a coffee mug. It's a decision to lean when you feel like falling. It's the courage to trust God's strength when yours is gone. And believe me, that's where the miracles happen. That's where transformation begins. Isaiah 40:31 lays it out clearly. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. That's not poetic exaggeration. That's spiritual reality. When you put your hope in God, strength returns. Not just enough to survive, but enough to rise, to soar, to keep going when life says you can't. But to access that strength, you've got to stop depending solely on your own. Let go of the pressure to be invincible. Let go of the shame that whispers, you should be stronger than this by now. And most of all, let go of the lie that says your weakness disqualifies you. Because God actually works best in weakness. In 2 Corinthians 12:9, God says something powerful to Paul and to you. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Let that sink in. Your weakness is not the end of you. It's the starting point of God's strength. When you stop pretending and start trusting, the power of Christ rests on you. That means the pressure to be perfect gets lifted. The weight of earning love disappears. You're no longer trying to survive on fumes. You're fueled by grace. There's a strength that doesn't come from caffeine or confidence or control. It comes from Christ. And that strength, it doesn't run dry. It doesn't depend on your mood, your income, your energy level, or how people treat you. It flows from a source that never fails. So today, stop measuring your worth by your ability to keep going. Start measuring it by the one truth that never changes. God is with you. God is for you. And God is empowering you right now. Faith isn't weakness, it's war. Every time you say, I trust you, God, even though I'm tired, heaven moves on your behalf. You don't have to figure it all out. You just have to believe and be held by the one who never lets go. Your strength is not in your hustle. It's in your hope. And your hope is anchored in the unshakable hands of God. Now that strength is flowing, what if you're not just meant to stand again, but to rise higher than before? Now we come to the turning point, the moment that changes everything. Because yes, you're exhausted. Yes, you've been down. But hear me, you are not defeated. You may feel buried, but in God's hands, you're not being buried, you're being planted. And what's planted in pain can still rise in power. This isn't the end of your story. This isn't where you stop. This isn't where you break permanently. This is where you rise again. Proverbs 24:16 says it with fire in its bones. The righteous may fall 7 times, but still get up. That's not weakness. That's resilience. That's divine DNA inside of you. You were never made to stay down. You were built to get back up. And the reason you can rise, because you're not doing it alone. God is lifting you. He's not shouting from a distance. He's reaching into the pit with you. Psalm 40:2 says, He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. That's your God, the one who rescues, the one who restores, the one who rebuilds what life tried to destroy. You might feel like you've lost too much. Time, confidence, relationships, even parts of yourself. But none of it is beyond God's ability to redeem. What feels like an ending is just a chapter. The story isn't finished, and the author hasn't stopped writing. And here's what you need to understand. When God lifts you, He doesn't just return you to where you were. He sets you higher. He strengthens what was once weak. He makes you wiser, deeper, more rooted in Him. He turns scars into stories, pain into power, mess into message. I've been there too, on the floor, questioning everything, wondering if I'd ever get my joy back, my energy back, my identity back. And slowly, with grace, with love, with divine patience, God lifted me. Not because I earned it, not because I got everything right, but because He's faithful, because He doesn't leave His children in the pit. And if He did it for me, He will do it for you. You don't have to feel strong to rise. You just have to say, God, lift me. That's it. That's the cry heaven responds to. And when He lifts you, no one can stop it. No mistake, no devil, no past version of you can keep you down when God says, rise. So shake the dust off. This is not the end of your purpose. This is not where your strength dies. This is the moment of resurrection. The moment God breathes life back into dry bones and calls you to stand again. You are rising. Not just surviving. Not just limping. You are rising in strength, in clarity, in purpose. Because the help you were waiting for, it's already been sent. Jesus is your help. Jesus is your strength. Jesus is your comeback. And your comeback will be greater than the battle. So rise, child of God. Rise again. You've heard every word, and maybe right now your heart is trembling. Your soul is aching. You feel the weight lifting, but you're scared to believe it's real. That's okay. This is the holy morn, the turning point. I want you to take a deep breath, and don't just listen now. Pray with me. Speak these words out loud. Not for performance, but for freedom. This is your breakthrough prayer. Let's go there together. God, I am tired. I don't have to fake it anymore. You see the weight I've been carrying. You know the thoughts that wear me down. You've seen every silent tear and hidden ache. I don't have to hide from you. So here I am just as I am. Weary, wounded, but willing to be healed. Right now, I lay it all down. Every burden, every pressure, every voice that tells me I'm not enough. I give you the stress I can't shake, the battles I can't fight anymore, the expectations I can't live up to. I hand them to you, God, all of it. I let go of what's crushing me and I release it into your hands. This weight is no longer mine to carry. Even if I don't feel it yet, I choose to trust you. You are not done with me. You are still writing my story. Even in the dark, I will declare, you are good. Even in the silence, I believe, help is coming. You are my strength when I have none. You are faithful when I can't see the way. I will not fear because you are here. God, I receive your strength. I receive peace where anxiety ruled. I receive calm where chaos lives. I receive new breath in my lungs. Fill me with power I didn't have. Not mine, but yours. Not earned, but gifted. I receive the rest only you can give me. Remind me who I am, Lord. I am not forgot you. I am not a failure. I am not too far gone. I am chosen. I am held. I am carried by grace. I am a child of God, and that changes everything. I was made to rise. I was created to stand strong, not in my own power, but in yours. My identity is rooted in you, and nothing can shake it. So now I speak life over my future. I declare peace over my mind. I declare healing in every broken place. I speak strength into my tomorrow. The pit will not be my grave. The storm will not stop my calling. I rise with clarity. I rise with courage. I rise because you are lifting me. Thank you, Jesus. You knew I was exhausted, and you came running. You lifted me when I couldn't move. And now I will never walk alone again. Amen. Don't move just yet. Something sacred is stirring right now, and I believe with everything in me. This wasn't just a word for your today, but the divine setup for your tomorrow. Stay close, because what comes next might just shift your destiny. If this word touched you, if God used this message to meet you in your exhaustion, then I believe He's also inviting you to help lift someone else up. This ministry is about more than content. It's about rescue missions for weary souls. Every time you give, you sow light into someone else's darkness. You pour fresh oil on the altar of revival, and you become a carrier of hope where heaviness once lived. God said in Proverbs 11:25, "Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed." So, if you felt heaven move today, don't scroll past this moment. This is your divine appointment to partner with the lifting power of God. Support this channel with a super thanks. Join as a monthly member, or sow into the work through PayPal. The link is in the description. Your seed is sacred, and I prophesy God will multiply it with strength, peace, and provision over your life. Give now. Be part of the outpouring. If you believe this was a word from heaven, then hype this video. Yes, hit that hype button right now as a public declaration that you're rising again. Let the world see you're not staying down. And while you're at it, like this video to spread this lifeline to someone else who's exhausted and ready to give up. Drop a comment below and declare, "Help is coming. I will rise again." Let's fill this space with faith, not fear. And if you have a personal prayer request, don't carry that alone. Type it below, and this community will surround you with the strength of agreement. We're praying with you, for you, and lifting you until you can stand on your own again. Every video is a drink of living water for weary souls. If this fed your spirit, stay close to the well. Subscribe now and stay filled. Amen.